Welcome to the Edge Podcast Live. I am Christy Ogle, one of the co-founders of The Edge. I want to welcome you all to listen to our podcast, our Facebook Live, our YouTube channel, whatever it may be. Welcome, welcome. For the last several months, we've been discussing Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich and the 13 steps towards thinking and growing rich. So the 13th step is actually the sixth sense. Yeah, it's not about the movie. It's about that sixth sense that we all have. The 13th principle is known as the sixth sense, through which infinite intelligence communicates voluntarily without effort or demands by the individual. Now, I know those are some big words, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. I like to keep it simple. So I'm going to talk about Napoleon Hill's principle, and then I'm going to put it into context for you guys, okay? So this is the apex of the philosophy of Think and Grow Rich. It can be understood and applied by first using those first 12 principles of Think and Grow Rich. The sixth sense is a portion of the subconscious mind, which has been referred to as the creative imagination. And guess what? We all have it. It has also been called the receiving set, which ideas, plans, and that sort of thing flash through the mind. These flashes are sometimes called hunches or inspiration. So whatever you want to call it, that's what the sixth sense is. It's that gut feeling, that hunch, that inspiration for you to think and grow rich. Now, Napoleon Hill believed firmly in this infinite intelligence, this is imagination, but he took it a step further from interviewing several millionaires in the early 1900s. So his experience taught him to use invisible counselors. Invisible counselors. So it taught him it could be the next best thing to having true counselors. He emulated the great. He had this feeling of action that made it possible for his thoughts to become things. Long before Napoleon Hill ever wrote the book and created the Think and Grow Rich publication, or to start delivering these ideas to the public, he actually followed a habit of reshaping his own personal character by trying to emulate 9 men whose lives were and life's works were impressive to him. Those 9 men were Emerson, Paine, Edison, Darwin, Lincoln, Burbank, Napoleon, Ford, and Carnegie. Every night for a long period of time, many, many years, he held this imaginary council meeting in his mind, which he called the indivisible counselors. When he'd do this at night before he would fall off to sleep, he would hold an indivisible council meeting in his mind, in his imagination. The group of men were seated around a table. Among sitting with these men who he considered to be great, he actually dominated the group by serving as the chairman of the group. He had this definite purpose of indulging his imagination through these nightly meetings. His purpose was to rebuild his character with men he found great in the imaginary council, realizing that if he would have done this early in life, he would have overcome handicaps that he had at birth, which were his environment of ignorance. Most of us grew up in something like that. Superstition, and he volunteered himself and assigned himself the task to voluntarily rebirth himself through these methods. He was an earnest student of psychology, and he knew that men are who they are, and women, because of their dominating thoughts and desires. So whatever we think about, we become. With this knowledge, he used the mind as an operation. He was armed with the equipment and knowledge needed to rebuild his character. In these imaginary council meetings, he would call on the cabinet members, Lincoln, Ford, and address each of the members in his audible words, and then hear their correspondence and communication with him. His method was the imaginary cabinet, and the conversations and topics would vary nightly according to the traits of the individual's characters that he was interested in acquiring for himself. Now, don't misunderstand Napoleon Hill. It wasn't wishful thinking. It was in regards to the cabinet meetings. It was purely imaginary, but he felt entitled to the suggestions. The cabinet members were purely fictional, and the meeting existed only in Napoleon Hill's imagination. And it led him to glorious paths of adventure. It rekindled in himself this path for true greatness. It encouraged him to be creative and also honest with his thoughts. I bet that came from Honest Abe. But you also can have invisible counselors in your mind, this sixth sense to rebuild or build a part of you that you didn't even know was possible. So I want you guys to do this quick exercise. I want you to make a list of invisible counselors, men and women who inspire you, and qualities that you wish you could emulate fully in your life. I want you to think of 5 people, just 5, that could give you this pursuit of what you desire. Let your imagination soar in this exercise. Now, I did this exercise just with a couple of people that I thought I would be interested in learning. Number 1 invisible counselor for me would be Tony Robbins. The quality that he possesses is education and knowledge to help people get out of their own way. So that's what I found from studying Tony, and also had franchises that failed. What I found was that most people got in their own way. So I want to learn that Tony Robbins has to help people get out of their own way so they can live their best life, so they can have more, do more, be more, contribute more to the world. The second one is Grant Cardone. He knows sales and business. That's the quality that he possesses that I want to know more about. Qualities I want to acquire myself. Number 3 is Pete Vargas III. A lot of you probably haven't heard of Pete Vargas III, but he is the stage whisperer. So Pete Vargas Actually, he's helped Tony and Grant and Russell Brunson and lots of people that we hear on stages every single day, podcasts and lives and YouTube channels. Pete is the stage whisperer. So he's excellent at communication. Number 4 would be Dale Carnegie. He was a genius at human psychology. And number 5, I'd have to have Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich is the qualities that he possesses that I want to. Everything that I do, I want more riches in life. Now, that doesn't just mean money. It doesn't just mean those monetary things. Think and grow rich in every aspect of your life. I believe that my family is my greatest asset. So I continually think, how can I have better relationships with my children and my husband? Now, during these meetings with the invisible counselors, you want to be receptive to ideas, thoughts, and knowledge through your sixth sense. You want to owe entirely the invisible counselors full credit for such ideas, facts, and knowledge through this inspiration that is received. On scores of occasions, when Napoleon Hill faced emergencies or crises, something that might put his life in jeopardy, he was guided by these invisible counselors. Who will you have at your cabinet? Your people that you wish you had qualities like them, something you wanted to emulate fully into your life. Who are your 5 invisible counselors? So I'm sitting here, I can think of number 6, Pat Quinn, the human experience man. He knows how to educate adult human beings better than anybody else. Number 7 would be Russell Brunson. He can catch people's attention, stop their scroll. Gary V would be number 8. Like, the list could go on and on. I would cap mine at 9. I don't want to be better than Napoleon Hill, right? I mean, I guess I could. It's all in my mind, right? But who are your invisible counselors? Who do you need on your cabinet to be a better version of yourself so you can have more, do more, be more, so you can have that edge that other people don't even care about? You're listening to the Edge podcast, so you want your edge over the competition. I'm Christy Ogle. Thank you for joining me for the 13th step in Think and Grow Rich. And next week, we're going to go over the 13 steps and discuss the new book that we're going to go through step by step. Thanks for listening.